Welcome to episode 7 of Duo Doers, and in this episode we're going to be doing some DIY small closet shelving. Reason we're doing this is because we have a small closet in our guest bedroom that we use as extra storage, and it's pretty unorganized, so we're hoping to build some shelves to organize our closet. If you guys want to see a master bedroom closet makeover, we do have episode 9 and 10 coming out shortly that will have that, so subscribe and stay tuned for that. Some of the tools you're going to need for this is a jigsaw, a circular saw with an ultra finish blade, a hammer and a speed square, level and a tape measure, and a 18 gauge brad nailer and an air compressor. We're going to be using 16 inch by 3/4 inch by 8 feet long shelving that we're going to cut down to size. We're also using some fairing strips. They're inch by 2 inch by 8 feet as well. Fairing strips that we're going to again cut down to size. And guys, you don't need any expensive tools for this. If you don't have any of the tools I mentioned or any of the tools I want to continue to mention, there's some links down in the description below that you can check out some of the cheaper tools that we recommend. You don't need anything expensive to do this. You see some other YouTube videos with expensive tools. You don't need those. You can get away with a few $30 tools here and there, especially if you're just going to do this as a hobby. We're going to cut about 6 fairing strips, 16 inches long, because that's the depth of our shelves. Not exactly 16 inches, so you want to make sure to measure your shelf depth before cutting, because it says 16, but it's actually like 15 something. We'd like to use a speed square as a straight edge when we're cutting to get a straight edge, but that's okay if it's a little lopsided. You can see some of our cuts are still lopsided by doing that. You can use a sander to straighten those edges out. We recommend an orbital sander, which again linked down below, with 80 grit, 220 grit sandpaper. 80 grit's going to make it faster. 120 grit's going to be a little bit slower, but it's going to do the job either way. And we've learned a lot of things through this that we applied to our episode 9 and 10 about how to cut these longer boards. It was my first time cutting these boards that were this wide, and so I tried using a straight edge guide with my level. It didn't work, so we're just going to draw a line and try to cut as straight as we can across that line. And you see right now I'm lifting up the board from the table by using a 2x6 and some of the fairing strips stacked on top of each other. This is because I was trying to use the clamps, but if you have a flat surface that you can cut on, that's going to be the safest bet. And the reason why is while you're cutting with the circular saw, if the boards start clamping down on the blade, it could cause a kickback, which is not good. So make sure on a flat surface that you're okay with cutting into, or put your cutting edge on top of something like a 2x6 that you're okay with cutting into, and everything supported so nothing moves while you're cutting. Be safe while you're doing this. Right now we're cutting the boards for the shelves. You can see they're not perfectly straight, and that's fine. Again, sandpaper does magic. And we're going to go sand down the fairing strips as well. They're very rough. They have it feels like hairs on them. You want to go and sand that down, and it's going to make a lot of change. We're not painting them or anything. We're just leaving them the wood color. You can paint them if you want. We're just sanding them down so it's nice and smooth, so it doesn't have any of that fur feeling to them. And next thing, we're going to go ahead and empty our closet. You can see everything's just stacked on top of each other, kind of like haphazardly. So we're going to take everything out, and first you're going to see me put up one of the vertical boards against the wall, and that's to measure about where the top board is going to sit. So we're going to have a top board and a vertical board, a horizontal one and a vertical one. I'm measuring both sides because your floor might be uneven, so you want to see about where it is, and then when you put the vertical board or the horizontal board there, then you can level it out and see exactly where it needs to go. And here we made a mistake. We didn't measure twice, cut once. We realized that we didn't leave enough gap for the board. So I actually scratched up the wall and just a little bit of paint, and we fixed that. I went outside, sanded down the edge until it fit. So right now I went ahead and dry fitted it. I put the vertical board up and the horizontal board there. I'm putting in the furring strip right now. The first furring strip I'm putting where I believe it should be, and then right now I'm leveling out the top to fit where the horizontal board's level. We're using 6 nails, 2 in the middle and 2 on each side. And the reason we're using 18 gauge brad nails here, not screwing anything into the wall or anything like that, is because we're not worried about things weight wise. We're not putting anything too heavy on this. If we are, we would make sure to screw into the studs. And we're not worrying about anything pulling out. We're not going to be applying any pulling force to the nail and to the boards. It's mostly shear force that's going on, which is a 90-degree force to that nail. And an 1.25 inch nail which we were using here, 1.25 inch 18 gauge brad nails are more than fine with that. We're not, again, putting anything too heavy here. We're also separating the shells about 12 inches. They're static shells, right? They're nailed into the wall, nailed into the board. And we're doing that because 12 inches is where we measured out. We measured the board, vertical board, 36 inches because we wanted 3 12-inch shells. And then we also want to make sure that my brad nailer can fit inside the shelf. And the reason for that is that if we aren't able to put our brad nailer into the shelf, we can't nail down the brad nails like we're doing here. We can't nail down the shelving, and the shelves are going to be loose. So you want to make sure you have enough room there. It takes a little foresight to make sure that happens. And this is a great thing for an apartment as well, because those brad nails leave really small holes. So if you're moving out, taking the shelf apart, which should be pretty easy, you have small holes to patch up. And now we're going to vacuum any dust and sawdust that might have come in with us, and then putting the closet back together. That's it. It takes a few cuts, a few brad nails, and you're done. You can do some painting and some caulking if you want, but for this closet we want something simple and efficient and cheap, to be honest. So that's it. It's very simple. I think altogether it cost us maybe $20, $30. The board was the most expensive thing. One board is about $17. Fairing strips are a couple of dollars. But thank you guys for watching this video of Duo Doers. We have an Instagram and Facebook, so go follow us there at Duo Doers. We post videos every Wednesday, so make sure to subscribe and like. We have some really exciting content coming up, so make sure to follow us and to check out the latest videos. Thank you.